Hello there, everybody. So good to see you. Oh, it's such a bright, sunny day here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Oh, I see some people from Wisconsin. Yeah, I see Vicki and I see Ann L. Thanks, Ann L, for that lovely comment you made about our shows. Well, with me today in the classroom are Ali Sultan, our director and producer and coach and everything, and Kelsey Kuno, who is on the production team. And also, Kelsey does the magic box. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk today about F for freedom. We're going to go over a couple of freedom stories. There are hundreds, thousands, but we had to pick just two because we know you don't have much time. Then we're going to talk about some roots from the wonderful Greek language. And then Kelsey has a special surprise for us. We don't know what she put in the magic box. For F, we'll have to see. Oh boy, I don't know what's in there. She said I'd really, really like it. So I don't know, F, what would I like fiction? I don't know, we'll see. So we're going to start with some freedom stories. And we told you there's thousands. But when I was teaching in the classroom, school people, all ages, I just really loved the biography studies because we got to learn so much about people. Hey, here's Magic. And Tiger's around here somewhere. Magic, I think I know why you're here. I think, are you here for this, Magic? I thought so. I wanted him to visit for so long, but you kind of have to. Oh, Magic, what's up? Come on. So he's a good boy. Anyway, it's really hard to pick, but one of the stories I really wanted to share with you is this beautiful story about Wilma Rudolph, the Olympic runner. Here comes Tiger. Hey, Tiger, come on up for a treat. Come on. That's a good boy. All right, you guys, now we got to get down to work. Time to play school. Oh, Tiger, did Magic eat yours? Oh, I should have been a lot more careful about giving you that. Here, Tiger, here's one for you. That's just for you, Tiger, not you, Magic. Later, Magic. Oh, they're so funny. Anyway, what a story this is. What I love about this book, which appeals to people of all ages, is this wonderful artwork by the artist David Diaz. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Come on, Magic. Go see Kelsey. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful artwork. So here's the story. She was born poor and lived in Clarksville, Tennessee. And she was also born very sickly. So when she was born, the doctor said to her mother and father, she'll never make it to age 1. She'll never make it. Well, she did make it, and she got stronger and stronger, and she was a real athletic baby. Like, she ran before she even walked. She jumped. She did get a lot of illnesses, and what was hard about getting illnesses when you live in Clarksville, Tennessee in the 1940s is that they didn't allow black people. She was African American, and they didn't allow black people in the hospital. The closest hospital was 50 miles away in Memphis. So that was kind of hard. So her mom kept her home when she was sick and just kind of tended to her herself. Then something very serious happened when she was 5 years old. She wound up with a very severe case of scarlet fever, and then she got a very serious disease called polio. Now, we don't get polio anymore because we have vaccinations for polio. But polio was a disease in the 40s and 50s in the United States mostly, and it affected mostly children. The other name for it was juvenile paralysis. Many, many children died. Like 360,000 children either died or got sick, infected with polio. I guess that little treat helped. Right, Magic? That's okay. He's doing fine. So anyway, when she was 5 years old, she had polio. Well, the very active young Wilma became crippled. Her leg, her left leg was completely paralyzed. And they didn't know what to do because African Americans couldn't get any medical help at that time. So her mother took her 50 miles on the bus twice a week to Memphis, where the nurses showed her how to exercise her leg. And they came from a very big family, and everyone in the family, this is why I wrote this down for F2, family and friends, right? Friends and family. They massaged her, they exercised her, they did physical therapy, and it really, really hurt. She worked it, she worked it, she worked it. And finally, she got to a place where she could wear a brace because before the brace, she was just hopping. They wouldn't let her go to school because she wasn't able to walk at all. And so she went from the brace, and then she kind of took over on her own, and she exercised. She did all of what the nurses at the hospital told her to do. And when she was 12 years old, she surprised the congregation of her church, took off her brace at the church door when everybody was inside, and she walked down the aisle without a brace. And everybody, I mean, they said she'd never walk again. Everybody was jubilant and overwhelmed. And, you know, she just went on from there. She worked really, really hard. The whole time she had been sick and unable to go to school, she used to watch the kids play basketball. So she learned basketball for like 5 years when she was in that brace. And she really wanted to learn, get on the court and play it. And now that she could walk, she started working harder, and she wound up playing basketball in high school. And she took her team all the way to the Tennessee State Championships. Well, at the final championship, her team lost, and she was so disappointed. But it just so happened there was a college coach watching the game. And what do you think he did? He went up to her and said, you know, you'd make really good runner. You should be on my track team. Well, at that time, there weren't very many girls, young women running. It was mostly a male sport. But she joined up. She got a scholarship, the very first person in her family to go to college. She got a scholarship, a track and field scholarship to Tennessee State, and she wound up running. And she got better and better and faster, and she wound up in the 1960 World Olympics, the very first Olympics that was ever televised. Everybody was so nervous. And what happened? Her first race, 100 meter, won. Nobody was anywhere near her. Her second race, 200 meter, gold medal. Nobody was anywhere near her. And then she did the 400 meter relay with her team. That was really, really close. It's seconds. She won for her team. She was the last person in the relay to carry the baton, and she carried it over the line for her third gold medal. So that is such an inspiring story for me. I just love how she worked so hard to get what she wanted, to succeed. Remember, we've been talking about effort a lot in this show, haven't we? So that's Wilma. Wonderful story. This is a beautiful book. It's called Wilma Unlimited. The next story about freedom is the story about the author Eric Carle. Now, you know Eric Carle. He has hundreds of books, and you know him for his art. Beautiful, beautiful art. This is probably one of his most favorite, Brown Bear, but he's got The Hungry Caterpillar. I don't know if you know too much about the story of Eric Carle. I didn't know about the story of Eric Carle until I read this book. This book is called The Artist Who Painted a Blue Horse. Well, here's the story. He was born in the United States, but because of his father's work, they had to move to Germany. Well, when they moved to Germany, it was the time when a very unpleasant, mean man, Adolf Hitler, was in power. And all of the people that he brought into his government were sort of like him. They had his beliefs and his values, and they were not kind people. And so one of the things they did was they said artists could only paint, only draw, any kind of artwork could only be done in one way. If a horse was brown, you had to draw it brown, or paint it brown, or crayon it brown. If a tree was white, you had to use those colors. They called it realistic. And anybody who didn't paint or draw the way they wanted to, they called degenerate. And there was a whole term, a whole movement called degenerate art. Well, when Eric Carle went to school in Germany, he had a high school teacher who noticed that he was really talented. But the high school teacher could only teach him in what the Nazis expected, realistic art. So the high school teacher did something very, very brave. And he pulled Eric Carle over when everybody was out of the classroom, and he said, I've noticed in your art that you have a sense of freedom, and I want to show you something. And he went into the back room, and under a lot of hidden boxes, he showed Eric this picture, Franz Marc, of the blue horse that had been painted many, many years ago, like in the 20s. This artist had already died, but the Nazis wouldn't let this artist's painting be shown because the horse was blue, and they wanted only black horses, brown horses, what they called realistic horses. And so this teacher inspired Eric Carle to paint any way he wanted to. And Eric Carle really, at that point, wanted, let's get back to the United States, where there's more, at that time, freedom. So he and his family went back to the United States, and then Eric Carle started painting things like green lions and orange elephants. Oh, what a sense of freedom. What a wonderful thing, right? I love that story. Okay, those two stories, people, are what we call biography. Let's take a look at what we have to do today. Okay, F is for freedom. Well, we did the two freedom stories, so if you're playing school at home, you can do this. It's always a good idea. We call it a to-do list, right? That way your students know what's coming, what they've accomplished. Next, we're going to talk about the root bio. We have so much to thank the Greek people for. And one of their biggest contributions to the world has been in our language. We have so many words from the Greek language. And a lot of our words have this root bio in them, okay, which means life. Greek, bio, for life, right? So our biography is life, and graph is another Greek root. It means write. So writing about someone's life, right? Right, Annie in Wisconsin? You got that? So writing about someone's life. And if you look, oh my goodness, just tell the people you're teaching when you play school, go find some words with bio in it. There are hundreds. Autobiography, that's self, life, and writing. Writing about yourself, right? Autobiography, biology, antibiotic, biopsy. There's so many. All right, nice job listening with that. All right, where's our to-do list here? That was a good job listening, everybody. All right, let's talk about the root graph. That's another really big one the Greeks gave us. Okay, so graph means to write, and we have words like geography, photograph, photography. I have some written on the back of this, but I can't see here. Calligraphy, choreography, cinematography. You'll have fun. I didn't want to write them all down because I want you to have fun finding them on your own, right? Right, Magic? I wonder what you want. I wonder what you want. Okay, you did a good job listening to that, Magic. You might get a treat later on. Yes, 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 good boy. Okay, now we get Kelsey's magic box. Okay, what do you think's in there, Magic? Well, we're working on the letter F. I told you I like reading and I like fiction. I like reading, I like fiction. Kelsey knows I like food. I'm looking over, she's smiling because I like food. I wonder if it's food. Well, we've got Frida Kahlo, but look what Frida Kahlo is enjoying. She's enjoying a big box of fruit. Fiber with fruit. Wow! And we're hungry. It's lunchtime. Oh, delicious fruit. Wow, Kelsey, thank you so much for the fruit. What a great, I don't think I'll eat the lemon right now, but I might eat, and I think Ollie and Kelsey and Magic and Tiger might help me. Well, everybody, stay tuned next week when we talk about G for ginormous. Until then, see you. Bye-bye.